In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this beautiful silver bar from start to finish, from the pouring to the stamping and a little bit of comedic, oh my god, I've lost all my little bits of tools along the way. It should be fun. Stick around and join me as I pour some silver. Everybody, Backyard Bullion here, and a warm welcome back to my silver pouring bench. It has been a hot minute since I've done a video from the bench, and I wanted to go back to some of my roots and share with you the processes that I go through to make some of our poured silver, whether it's beautiful pieces like our Celtic ripple rounds with the stunning ripples on them, or if it's our 100-gram silver forum bars. Now, we have made 175 of these, and there are only 15 left for sale. So if you're interested in picking up some of these 100-gram forum bars, having been inspired from watching this video, seeing them come to life as we're going to pour one like it here today and show it being stamped as well, then head on over to my website. There's a link in the description box below and you can go and check that out. Also, quick announcement, next week, next Sunday, 1 week from today, if you're watching on the day of release, I will do a live silver pouring session. It's going to be really, really fun. I did one a couple of weeks ago with Cobra Stacker, and we poured some pieces live. So here's the live auction silver pouring pieces we did for Cobra Stacker. And it was really fun to bring it to life. And I know a lot of people who were in that auction, who were watching the live silver pouring, really enjoyed it. And so we're going to do that. We've got a whole bunch of new pieces that I've worked on over the last few weeks that we'll be releasing on that day as well. So we can all hang out, see what I've made, and see things being made on the day. It should be a barrel of laughs, and it's not going to be an auction. I just want to make that clear straight up. We're not going to be auctioning off pieces that we pour. We're going to basically do some buy it now type stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the auction format, but it's going to be fun and something I have never done before beyond just a spontaneous moment of silver pouring with Cobra Stacker. I really enjoyed it and I think it will be fun. So that's coming next week. For now though, we can get ready to pour some silver. So what I go through for the 100-gram bars, of course, 100 grams of silver is required to make a 100-gram silver bar. Pouring silver can be very simple. You can just literally melt 100 grams of silver in a crucible and tip it out into a graphite mold. But that is sometimes not going to yield the best looking bar that I strive to get. Of course, poured silver is a premium product and something that takes a lot of time, energy and effort. And if you're just literally dumping 100 grams of silver into a mold and you're not paying attention to how it looks and the quality of it, then fine, you can charge small amounts. But when you go that extra step to make bars look extra special, I think it's worth admiring that premium and understanding that it is not just a cheap piece of silver. So what I do to make bars look better is what I call stop short. So I pour perhaps even more than 100 grams of silver. I'm just going to get the blowtorch on here to warm up my graphite mold because we're coming to temperature on the silver, and I was going to put a stop pause in this video, but I think we're actually going to be able to do it live as we go. So I stop short. So you can throw 100 grams of silver from the furnace into this mold and you'll get a 100-gram silver bar, but it won't necessarily look as good as I would want it to because graphite, here we go, that's what I wanted to do. Graphite will come off the crucible into the silver and it'll come out with that bit of silver. Now it comes out at the very end. So you might see it in this, I'm going to pour 2 bars, one after the other, and the second one will probably have a bunch of graphite on. Because, as you can see, these graphite molds, they shed graphite as they degrade over time with the heat. So, to avoid that, the first pour that usually comes out of the graphite crucible is a good one. And it doesn't often contain a lot of that schmutz, as I call it, that dirty graphite that you have to then clean away and get off. So hopefully we're going to get a nice looking bar out of this, and we will have to see what happens because the silver pouring gods, as I call them, are a fickle bunch. And there are days when I can pour silver and get incredible pieces every single time with amazing results. However, there are also days when I pour silver and it just doesn't come out looking particularly great. That's part of the process I go through. I will just scrap, and that's why I've got bunches of these things lying around, which are just the round pieces that I'm doing. And we're doing some of the 3-ounce silver forum rounds at the moment, production-wise. And I will chop them up and just stick them back in the furnace. It's one of the beauties of working with silver, of course. It's a renewable resource in that sense. You can just chop it up and try again and put it back in the furnace. So lots of flexibility on that front, but to get a really nice looking piece can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. Now, in terms of some top tips for silver, as we wait probably about another 30 seconds for the silver to be as hot as it needs to be, and this to be hot too. This is the big thing. So if you don't warm up your graphite molds, they will have moisture contained within them, the graphite. And you put 1000-degree molten silver in there, it's going to superheat the moisture that's in there, and it's going to cause what I call a steam explosion. And then you get molten silver flying everywhere, and that is not good, trust me. I have not had an injury yet, but it's very, very scary when it happens. And you may see in the background here, we've got some char marks and burn marks on the old MDF board. Sometimes bits of silver will fly off and run around your workspace. So pretty scary stuff sometimes. You've got to treat it with respect. So I think that our graphite mold will be nice and warm already. You don't have to get it red hot, you just have to eliminate moisture, and that is what we've done just now. So without further ado, I think it's time to get some molten silver out of the furnace and into our graphite mold. So here we go. Now here's our crucible with all the molten silver in. You can see it. You have to be a bit sharpish because it will start to cool pretty quick. So there we have a silver bar, and then the blowtorch keeps it molten just for a little bit longer, and that has turned out to be a stunning piece, beautiful. But there's no time to wait because we're going to do bar number 2. And another really, really good one, I think, coming here. Yeah, that's lovely. Now, you can see at the bottom there, that's the silver with all the graphite that I'm talking about. That's the nasty stuff you don't want coming out. And because there was enough silver in here to be able to stop short of that coming out, we have managed to avoid it. And that's really, really nice to see. I was half expecting that second bar to have a bunch of graphite schmutz on it, but actually it's come out pretty well, I have to say. So let's now take them out of the mold. So you saw I could manipulate the graphite mold there with these gloves. These are like welder's gloves, so they're not, you know, burn proof. They will, as you can see, they've got a bit of charring marks on them and stuff. You are talking very high temperatures here, but at the end of the day, you can quickly manipulate things. So I got 2 pours there for the price of 1, and we now have our red hot. You can see this. So this is another top tip. These things cool down from red hot quite quickly. And if you've got a workstation, I've been victim of this before in the past with a pair of graphite crucibles. After about a minute or 2, you can't tell which one is piping red hot. And I've made the mistake once or twice in my silver pouring career of going to reach for something, and I've touched this, and this will probably be about 700 degrees right now, probably a little bit cooler. You know, it depends how long it's been out, but you can see it. It's not even red anymore. It's still bloody hot. It's not good. So to avoid burns, I never touch a crucible with bare hands anymore that's on my workstation. So to get the silver cool quickly, I quench them. Now, quenching is a tradition that would sort of harden metals, but it's not really one that you use for sort of silver in that sense, because silver is already a really malleable metal. But in terms of practicalities, I quench the silver so that I can actually have it and see what it looks like. And then, of course, we're going to take it over to the stamping block and stamp it. So here is this one. Now, I was going to make this into a 100-gram foreign bar. I don't know what the weight is yet. We'll have to see. So this is the other thing I haven't mentioned in this particular video, is that we, of course, are trying to aim for 100 grams, and you're doing it by eye. So that's part of the skill of this whole process, to try and ensure that you are getting that 100 grams weight. And sometimes it'll be a bit more. I think the first one we poured is a little heavier than the second one. So I'm going to reposition my camera next to my stamping block, my anvil, and then we'll have a look at these and we'll work out what we're going to do. I think this one, though, is too good to stamp a big, you know, the huge Forum logo in the middle. So maybe we'll do it on this one, but we'll be back in just a moment. Right then, we are at the silver stamping section of my silver pouring workshop, and it's very important, first off the bat, to have a very sturdy, heavy, well-made anvil. If you're doing heavy-duty silver stamping, it is one of the best investments you can ever make to get a good anvil. So I have got one here. I've got some cardboard on it to help protect the silver from detail of the metal on the anvil actually bleeding through onto the silver itself. But maybe more on an anvil in another video. You can also see some of the bits of silver in the background that I've been working on this week. Those are the bits that will be finishing and showing in the live stream next weekend. So a bit of a sneak peek on those. But today we're going to focus on the 2 bars that we poured just a moment ago. So we have these 2 here. They are unfortunately not going to be perfect for 100-gram bars, but the first one we did is a really nice one. The Silver Pouring Gods blessed me with a beautiful looking piece of silver. So we're going to stamp that one up with the traditional kind of backyard bullion motif and logos, and we'll show it again in the live stream next week. This one though is going to be the Sacrificial Lamb, to show you what I go through making the 100-gram Silver Forum bars, these ones that I showed at the beginning of the video. Quick reminder, if you are interested in them, they're in my website, on my website I should say, links in the description below. But what I would normally do is I would get those bars, I would weigh them. So we have here a set of very accurate scales. These are Trading Standards approved scales and calibrated every year so that we know that we're selling the exact amount of silver that we want. It's very important to do that. And you can see, I don't know if it quite shows there, but 113.82 grams. So a little bit too big for my liking. So that's the risk you take with a sort of stop short approach of silver pouring. You might not get bars that are exactly 100 grams, but you get better looking bars. Now, from my perspective, I'm not really in a position to give away 13 grams of silver per bar that I make. So this would just go back in the furnace and I'd try again, and I would pour until I get sort of 101, 102, 103 grams. It could take 3 or 4 attempts per bar. Usually though, when I've been doing it long enough, the muscle memory kicks in and I can work out what I need to do to get about 100 grams. And that's what we do with 175 of those Silver Forum bars. So a lot of care and attention goes into making our bars look really good and at the right sort of standard and weight. This though, we're going to stamp right now. So another top tip, ear defenders, ear protection, really important. If we're stamping loud, noises will come. Very, very important. So I'm going to pop those on and we are now going to stamp our silver. So I've got these metal stamps made by a UK engineering company called M. Shaw Engraving, really, really high quality steel stamps. And this one is a very hard one to do because it's a very flat profile stamp. So I will usually position it by hand like this and then hold it very tight, get a nice heavy hammer. This one's a big old little mini sledgehammer mallet. I will then do a double check on the positioning, making sure it's as even and centered as possible. And then the trick is one swift stamp. Don't do multiples because things will jump. So we do one swift stamp and here we go. Loud noise incoming. So first stamp, we'll never usually anyway go for the entire design. So if we show that, you can see that it's not quite gone through all of the different striations and relief points on the bar. So what you do is you position it on again and you can find out a point where the stamp's design will bite into what you've already done. And you can see I'm wiggling the bar with the stamp. So again, nice firm grip and another swift strike. And sometimes you can feel whether or not it's jumped or not. This didn't jump, so I am going to just give it one more big hit. And hopefully now, yes, we can see that it is looking pretty good in terms of detailing. Now, unfortunately for this one, I've actually not centered it particularly well. I didn't necessarily pay as much attention as I was going to. So this, if I was making it, it would probably be marginal whether or not I'd keep something like that. I want it to look as good as possible, and even though it's like a millimeter out of alignment, I would probably just stick it in the furnace and try again. Next stamp we're going to do would be the 100 grams, but of course this one's not quite 100 grams, so it's not an exact representation. But we do, again, one big swift stamp, jump, we'll go again, and there we have 100 grams. This is an art. Stamping is an art, and it's something that a lot of silver pourers struggle with and get wrong at the start. And I see a lot of people, so here's an example. This may or may not do it. If we have so much time stamping, it might not work. But if you just go and start stamping like this, thinking, I've done it, you will find something like that will have happened. So this is the example of the stamp jumping, and you just get a mishmash of the design. That's, of course, not what you're looking to do or find in this. So again, I'm just going to go over this. This wouldn't be something I'm selling. I'm going to stick this back in the furnace. But again, one swift strike. Have a look at what you've done. Looks all right. Position again. Get the bite point, and another swift strike. And you can see, even though we messed up on the first couple, it's already looking a little bit sharper and better. But again, this is one to put back in the furnace. Now, the piece that we liked, the good one here, this is going to be slightly different because we're going to put on my leaf design on the top. So if I can find the stamp, there's loads of stamps everywhere. I've been working very hard today. So this is our little leaf that hit the silver when it was cooling. That's what I like to think. And we're just going to put that right in the center of the ripples. That simple, that easy, nice and quick. Then we're going to stamp some stuff on the back. Now, if we stamped it just like this, the hard metal anvil would damage this beautiful surface. So, rubber stamping block. This will give enough leeway and give that it won't damage the silver, but it will give enough fortitude to actually get the stamp design in there. And this is what we're going to do with the Backyard Bullion logo here. So again, we're going to try and position this, and this is a nice bar. So I'm just going to take a moment to make sure this is nice and positioned centrally. I think that's as good as we're going to get. And then we're going to give this one a swift hit with a slightly lighter hammer because this is a slightly easier stamp to get to make a mark. So here we go. So one hit is all you need a lot of the time. A lot of people fall victim to not needing or thinking they need more than one. So one, and then I'm just going to go around the edges of this stamp at angles to get the border. So there we go, that's looking really good. Now this one, I'm going to weigh it again in a moment, but we're going to put it in ounces troy. I need to find my OZT, here we go, my OZT stamp. That's going to go above the BYB. I'm going to get that one done. One Swift stamp is all you need. We're going to put 2023 in a slightly smaller text underneath. And that one's going to go there, perfect. And then we're going to weigh this again just now so I can see, oh, my scales have run out of battery. That's typical. Fortunately, I have actually the power cable right here next to me. Oh, the joys of filming on YouTube, and it's the stress of it. The other stress, I've only got 2 minutes of camera battery left, so we're going to have to wrap this video up in a moment. Guys, if you've enjoyed the content that we've made today, let me know. I know it's not a video that will get sort of 10,000 views here on YouTube, and it's sometimes a bit perplexing because I find this stuff really interesting, and I know a lot of other people do too. But let me know if you like it. So 119.22 grams. We're going to convert that to ounces troy. So if we go 119.22 divided by 31.104, 3.83. So 3.83 ounces. Oh, we're running out of camera battery time. We'll get there. 3. We've got a little punch here for the point. What did I say? 3.83. 3.83. That's it. Oh God, where's my 3 stamp? It's gone. There we go. I've got it here. 3.83. So it feels like I'm now filming in a game show where there's like a time limit on how long we've got left. There we go. So we have done it in time. So there's the 3.83 bar that we just poured. That one will get finished up and we'll put hallmarks on it. So hallmarking is a topic for another video entirely. We'll get to that at another time, or you can see one of my previous videos on it. But we'll send this up for hallmarking. It will be talked about in the live stream next week. I'll probably still have it because I'm building a box to go up there to the Edinburgh Assay office. But next week, live silver pouring. So head on over to my channel and subscribe if you've not done so already. We'll see you next week. As I mentioned before, if you're interested in picking up any of our 100-gram silver foreign bars, not this one, because this is the bad one that we just stamped and it was not particularly good. If you're interested, links on our description page down below to our website. We ship worldwide. Any support that you can give would be much appreciated to our channel and of course the Silver Forum. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next video. As always, please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.